Conservation Area. Murchison Falls National Park lies in the northern end of the Albertine Rift Valley, where the sweeping Bunyoro escarpment tumbles into the vast palm-dotted savanna. At Murchison Falls, the Nile squeezes through an 8-meter wide gorge and plunges with a thunderous roar into the Devil's Cauldron, creating a trademark rainbow. The park is bisected by the Victorian Nile, which plunges 45 meters over the remnant Rift Valley wall, creating the dramatic Murchison Falls, the centerpiece of the park and the final event in an 80-kilometer stretch of rapids. This stretch of river provides one of Uganda's most remarkable wildlife spectacles.
I welcome you to Murchison Falls Conservation Area, the largest protected area in Uganda. It actually covers about 3,800 plus square kilometers. And the Murchison Falls, to make it a conservation area, it also oversees other protected areas. Talk about Karuma, talk about Bugungu, talk about East Madi, talk about Kaboya, and I also talk about the Ajai, where Uganda Wildlife Authority and government are planning to introduce the rhinos. So that is the entire conservation area. The beauty with this conservation area is that we are crossed. The park is watered by a big lifeline, the Nile. The Nile crosses more or less all the protected area. And therefore, the diversity of wildlife within this protected area is well watered, and it receives water at all time. And that is the beauty. And the other beauty with this conservation area called Murchison Falls is that it has both type of ecosystems. It has the forest ecosystem, talk about Budongo forest ecosystem, which is part of this conservation area, but also it has the savanna. So it has the two transition zones, and that makes conservation very wonderful and interesting. We actually carry out the primary conservation effort we do is effective conservation of wildlife and habitats within this protected area. Because once we make sure that the habitat is well managed, then the wildlife is well managed. But also in doing this, we go ahead and make sure that we do protection, because you can't say that you are effectively conserving without protection. And under protection, we do law enforcement, we do patrols to make sure that we keep away the poachers as much as possible, so that the wildlife can really enjoy the habitats. We have started also doing what we call vegetation manipulation or habitat manipulation to improve and maintain the quality of the habitat. Amidst the climate change, some of our areas are being colonized by cassia, being colonized by palms, and they are affecting the grazers, especially the small grazers and the middle grazers. So we are doing what we call a habitat manipulation to make sure that the areas for grazing is maintained. Yes, it is a slow process, but we are moving on. Additionally, to effectively do conservation, we do community sensitization. We have done community sensitization within the communities around the protected areas of all the 7 also PAs within this park, as I have earlier on said. And in so doing, we raise awareness so that people can accept to cohabit this area. The neighbors to the park can agree to exist together with the wildlife, because at times the animals, the buffaloes, the elephants stray out of the park. But how do you coexist? So we try to educate the people, for example, to grow crops that are non-palatable to wildlife. But also as a park, we have gone ahead to make sure that we establish the electric fence to minimize the incursions where the elephants previously used to go out of the park and injure or even kill community. So that program is on. And where we have so far established it, like in Noya district, really communities are very appreciative. Still under conservation efforts, we do research and monitoring, because it is also, we need to know what do we have and how is the vegetation, how are the animals moving on. Under this, we also have the veterinary unit, which move out in the field to find out if they can encounter any animal that is sick, we treat it. We have the methodologies for doing that. We also, under vet, we do collaring of wildlife to be able to monitor their movements within the park. But also we use this same method to remove wire snares, because poachers at times come into the park and they set wire snares, they put in place the metal traps. So once these metal traps have touched our animals and we get to know that an animal X is in a wire snare or in a trap, we can go out to the field and actually remove the wire snares. So also that vet unit is really very, very, very effective and doing a great job. We are very pertinent on endangered species. We make sure that during our effort of awareness raising, as I told you earlier, we make sure that we popularize to the communities that these are endangered species and they are not yet for touching. Some of the endangered species, for example, I will tell you that it is because of poaching that people can come in to look for elephants, people can come in to look for buffaloes and many others. For lions, for leopards, these are all endangered species if they are not well protected. But through our law enforcement programs, we have reached some level. And through awareness, we have even organized study tours for the judiciary, because they are very pertinent in this program of conservation. Because when we arrest, for example, somebody who is poaching, we take these poachers to them for appropriate legal discipline. And if they know the value of conservation, then they will do it. Two, how do we also make sure that the efforts of conservation, especially for endangered species, reach the community, is by sharing with the local communities the value that come out of the conservation. And that is tourism. You are aware, as UWA, we are mandated to provide 20% of the revenue sharing as revenue sharing programs. So when we give out these revenue sharing programs, we encourage people to have what we call alternatives to park. For example, if you were interested in game meat, we encourage you to rear poultry using the revenue sharing funds. We encourage you to rear goats using the revenue sharing funds. We encourage you to keep on rearing or keeping piggery as a revenue sharing program. In so doing, we are trying as much as possible to protect the rare and endangered species. The other beauty is that in this conservation area, there is no harvesting of timber. So our trees, our endangered tree species are safe, because it is illegal to access or to put so in this conservation area. We have a cordial relationship with first of all, with the local people. In the first instance, you find that over 90% of our staff are recruited from within the local communities. Therefore, they see value of conservation, and the coordination is cordial. How would I justify whenever we want to say we need people to work, thousands come. They provide us with information on who is likely to endanger the park. Those are signs of cooperation. At the stakeholders level, we work very closely with security agencies to make sure that the park is secure. We work very closely with the local government to make sure that the park is secure. And also, themselves are interested in this conservation, because most of the hotels outside the conservation area are at the periphery, and they get direct revenue from their being in place, because they benefit from conservation. So at the international level, you can appreciate that most of our tourists are international. We have international mandate and protocols we have signed as Uganda for effective conservation, like conservation of elephants. Uganda is a signatory to these protocols and many other wildlife species. And that's the reason why people come in here. We recently we were hosting the fishing tournament. It was an international activity. Through all these programs, you see that we benefit. World Bank, we enjoy a cordial relationship. Today, the park, Murchison Falls, I think all our fleet in terms of transport is sponsored by World Bank. And that is because of cordial relationship. World Bank, because they help us to support directly the financing of the establishment of the electric fence. And we are very proud of this. You have seen the electric fence, and it is being funded by the World Bank. And this is very great. We are very grateful for this, because those are indicators that really we are working very closely together. We work with British zoos that help us to manage resources, to manage wildlife, because they come with researchers to us, and when they conduct research here, this research can enable us to understand better how to manage these resources. Currently, we have the pangolin. We are monitoring pangolins. Where do they stay? How do they live? This is a unique research, because even at one time people didn't believe that we have pangolins here. We work with international agencies. They have helped us in technology, because now we have smartphones. Not only smartphones, we have the Earth Ranger. It also helps us to monitor who's where, who's patrolling. But we also have the eye in the space, which this is like a satellite. We also connected to satellites to monitor where the animals are and which poacher is entering where. In so doing, if we quickly move to these areas, we can really do a good job. The international community has donated to us drones to also monitor the wildlife for effective conservation. So our coordination with the wildlife and the government and the community is really recorded at that level. However, that doesn't mean that we don't have pingamizi within the community. We still have some poachers within the community who still sneak into the park. I will first appreciate the central government, the president, because the first thing is to ensure security. There is consistent security in this country. That is the primary thing. Then, as UWA, we have maintained our prices, that they are not flickering every after the other time. We have maintained them at some good level. Two, we have made sure that when somebody pays to come and see wildlife, he actually sees wildlife. Because if you have paid your money to come here and you want to look to see a lion, and you don't see it, you go back and you will say, there is no animals in that park. But when you say, I have come, I want to see a lion, I want to see the big four within the park, you are seeing them. And that's why soon we are going to be talking about the big five. That's why we want to introduce the rhinos here, so that we have all the big five. You say, which park can I go to see the big five? And you come and you see. Two, maintaining the standard of some facilities where visitors, when they come in here, they are able to see, to utilize. That is also very good. This road, which the tourism road from between Masindi and the Parkwatch, it is a wonderful road that many people now want to use. But I will also tell you that one of the positive effects of COVID was that Ugandans started appreciating their own country. Because people could not move out of this country, they saw an opportunity. They had the time to come and visit their own. And when they came, They say, wow, we were missing this. Because there is no Ugandan who will go to the top of falls and he doesn't come back, or he doesn't bring another colleague. There is no Ugandan who will be around the Murchison Falls, he goes for the boat cruise and refuses to bring another, to come back. So you see that because of this, there is a sure deal that you will see the animals. Why? There is a sure deal that the top of falls is there. It will not vanish, it will not go away. And this beauty and this security within this country, these are very important attributes that make tourism thrive in this country. And I'm telling you for surety, the number of Ugandans is on increase. And what makes this? A, is security. 3, a stable economy. Yes, I know out there people will say, oh, the economy is not stable. Yes, but there is some stability in the economy, whereby if you have 10,000 today, it will still be 10,000 at least throughout the month. It can still have value. And as UWA, we are not changing our prices every after the other day. At least that consistency has helped us to continue having this information. But finally, the media. The media has been very, very, very useful and very helpful in effective marketing of Uganda's resources, especially Murchison Falls in this respect. And we encourage the media to continue marketing our own, because without media, people can't know where these protected areas are. And they have done a lot, more than what we should be paying, because whenever media people come in and they go out there and they market Murchison Falls, I think we are very grateful. And the other parks in Uganda, because this has been very, very, very helpful. There are ongoing national programs within this protected area. For example, we have one of the giant projects that is being implemented in this park, the oil and gas project. It is one such giant project we are proud of as a country, because our expectations are very high, and we believe we shall deliver for the citizens of this country. The oil, I believe in a few years the president will come around to switch on to turn on the tap, and everybody will see the oil called Uganda Oil. This is a mega project that is being implemented in this park, and it is being managed well, that it is coexist with wildlife. Yes, there are a few issues here and there, but these are short term and can always be managed. The fellows managing this they are doing it very well in accordance with the environmental impact assessment NEMA requirements, and they are doing the restoration. And once that is effectively done and it's managed, the wildlife will continue jumping around on the surface, while technically or using technology, the oil is being piped out to the appropriate refinery sites, which are outside the park, and that is very beautiful. The nature will remain undisturbed. And so far, when you look at where this has been done, the area has been restored, and nobody even can know that these activities taking place. That is a mega project. The second one, which we are starting on, is the glass bridge. We are soon constructing the glass bridge. Yes, around about 500 meters away from the falls, and that will be massive. There is Karuma Power Project. I know you have not put it there, but Yago 1, Yago 2, there is power generation, and that is a major project that will also take place. Those are projects outside conservation, but they need nature for them to be implemented. So as UWA, the other mega project we are going to do within this conservation area is the translocation of rhinos from Ziwa to Ajai. That is a big project, and that is going to bring in more tourists in this park. Several people are also opening up tourism camps, tourism hotels within this park, and I think at the appropriate time we shall talk about them. I would say the key challenges is still the poachers. We still have handsome poachers somewhere who are still hiding in one place or the other, and some of them are still armed. That is my main challenge that we are still battling with. The other challenge is the overfishing, which is still poaching, because some of the fishermen come and camouflage as fishermen, but they come with what we call wire seniors. These are still a nightmare for me, that I'm struggling to make sure that we reduce them as much as possible, so that the poaching is reduced. But the other major challenge that is affecting this park is the human-wildlife conflict, especially when the buffaloes, when the elephants, when the hippos move out of the park into the community and somehow hit them or break down their houses, destroy their property. That is still an outstanding challenge that we are trying our level best to make sure that we establish the fence which you have seen, to make sure that it is managed. And when we have put it in that zone, everybody is happy. Yeah, they call those areas they call Wua good boys. But in areas where we have not yet put this fence and the elephants are sneaking out, we are still having issues with conflict related to human wildlife problem. But we are trying our level best to make sure that this is fixed. And I have to say, government is good. It is really supporting us to make sure that this is addressed. Yes, please. So that is what I can say. Finally, we still need to market this park as much as possible, because the capacity we still have a wider capacity to manage, but the clients, we need more. The numbers, and we are not yet there. And we need more tourists. Please, I encourage you to come to Murchison Falls. I encourage Ugandan businessmen to come to Murchison Falls and establish new hotels, because it is tourism where we should go. There is money in tourism, hotels, and related activities. That's what I can say.